Okay. All right, guys, we are live. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our partner spotlight over here at DripJobs. But today we have Mr. Joel Mercado with us as our guest, man. So if anybody has had the privilege of interacting with Joel, you know what it's like. You know how amazing a person he is. He is a founder. He's an entrepreneur. He is a coach. He's a consultant. He's an author. What has this guy not done, right? So Joel, thanks for joining me today, my man. How you doing?
Such a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited. So I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Yeah, same. It's it's busy, but it's always good to be busy. I'd rather have it that way than not. So
100%.
yeah, man. So all right, awesome. We'll kick it off, man. So per usual, kind of let's kick off with hearing from you, right? Like let's
Yeah.
kick off with kind of your story. So I introduced a lot of things that you've done there,
Yeah.
and you have done a lot of things. You've
Yes.
ran multiple businesses, you run multiple businesses, you've sold, you've built, you've bought, you've done a lot, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experience and nuggets, behind you. So, man, run us through some of that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
tell us some of that journey.
Yeah, I'll make it quick and pretty simple because there is a lot, right? I always tell everybody, don't get fooled by my face. I'm in my 40s and I've done a lot from my teenage years to now. But
Yeah,
really my journey all started with the gym industry. What a lot of people don't realize is 21 years ago, I started learning how to do pre-sales in Arizona. I had moved from Pennsylvania and I went right into pre-sale. My brother's 8 years older than me. And
mhm,
he's always been like this real confident, just outgoing person. And I was always just this shy kid. But when he was around his friends, he was super excited to be his friends, but
yeah,
I was super shy.
yeah,
And when I moved, that was a life shift for me because you're going from East Coast to West Coast, no friends, nobody else. And that was a real culture shock for me.
yeah,
But it was such a blessing for my career. So I learned in the pre-sale industry. I got into sales. So I started building systems, processes for multiple gyms at a very young age. I was in managerial positions. So I caught on to leadership very quickly.
yeah,
But I also caught into learning, asking more questions.
yeah,
I was always a curious mind.
yeah.
So I learned sales early on and I just noticed there was a gap. People weren't connecting and they were just using these specific like sales tactics that we were taught from like LA Fitness and stuff from back in the day.
Yeah,
And I just started asking genuine questions like, hey, what's your goal? Like, what are you
yeah,
trying to achieve? How can I help you here? I'm just here to serve you.
yeah,
And that kind of just started the trajectory of my career, man. It was wild.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, started in the gym world, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So then how did you find your way to the trades, the home services industry?
Yeah. So
Right?
that
I
goes
mean,
even
where'd
more.
that leap come from?
Yeah, it goes backwards actually. When I was 18, I was working 3 jobs. I was 18. I dropped out of high school. So I was around 16 years old when I dropped out of high school, had to work full time, support my family at a young age. And right when I turned 18, I worked for a heating and air conditioning company in Pennsylvania. It
Okay.
was new construction. And man, did I learn a lot. Like
Yeah.
within 6 months, it was like brand new builds. I had to start from scratch, cutting in the plywood floorboards and really installing everything from start to finish. And that was a great experience for me because I was like, wow, I never knew all of the things like systematically what it had to look like from start to finish. But I'll be honest with you, I hated
Yeah.
it. Like literally in the wintertime, it's like freezing cold. There's no
Yeah.
walls. I'm putting like sheet metal together, no gloves. It's like
Yeah.
oh, dude, it was horrible experience for me. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this again.
Yeah.
So but I learned very quickly. I was 18, became a supervisor. It was called Hannaberry was the company name,
Okay.
and I learned really fast. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool niche. I'll probably get into construction at some point again. I knew it was
Yeah.
in the back of my mind.
Gotcha.
And then fast forward when we went from HVAC going from the gym, I ended up building other companies. I bought a martial arts school. I started training professional fighters. I trained Mesa PD, SWAT tactical training. So like I just went all in on everything that I loved.
Yeah.
But I was always like trying to find identity. So
Yeah.
what got me into the trades was identity. And which is interesting for a lot of people because they're like, well, what do you mean, Joel? I worked from cell phone. Like I worked for T-Mobile. I worked for Verizon. I worked for Domino's Pizza when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
used to fix and flip vehicles and make money that way. I did music. I was in the music industry. I did performances. I did events. I did public relations. I created a marketing agency. There were so many things I did in my time frame. And I just kept starting new things because I was like, I don't know what I'm really truly passionate about.
Mhm.
I don't know who I am. So through all of that, fast forward, I found a mentor 13 years ago, and I was struggling just mentally. I was struggling financially. I was struggling
Mhm.
just to find my place in the world. And my mentor was in the trades. He owned
Ah,
multiple painting companies. I liked what I saw. I was like, man, like I want your type of vehicle. I want your type of house. I want to live like you. What does that look like?
yeah.
And I got blessed to really find someone that really just paved the way and showed me that painting was the stepping stone to his wealth. And
Mhm.
I found that very interesting because I had zero paint background, but I had a lot of business experience. So that's what got me into the trades 8 years ago. That's how I started painting and creating a painting company, and then buying and opening multiple ones, and then selling and leaving and closing. And I mean, I've done it all, man. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want everyone to look at this call today and be like, oh, Joel figured it all out. And I've closed businesses too. And I've learned a lot between all of it. So it's been really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Dude, when did you, because you said something very interesting, in there, or I found interesting anyway, because my personality is very much the same way. Anybody who knows me knows I'm just like, I'm going fast, right? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in multiple directions often, right? Like, when did you have kind of a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe self-realization is the right word, but when did you kind of realize, like, or did you? Like, I'm doing too many things. I'm going in too many directions. Like,
Yes.
I'm not succeeding at any of this, but
Yes.
yet I'm burning. I'm moving, but I'm running in place. I'm not going anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
when did that moment happen, man? What was that like?
It was more of a mental break for me.
Okay.
I was always great at starting things. I was horrible at finishing.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening to this, watching us, like they're great at starting, but they just aren't consistent and they're not finishers, right? They're just like,
Right.
I have a vision. Let's go. Let's do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I was always great at that. But my aha moment was when I realized I was sabotaging everything in my life.
Mhm.
I got really into just drinking a lot,
Mhm.
hiding away from my feelings. And I thought by starting these new journeys, it would get rid of these feelings that I had, these mental blocks, and this trauma that I was dealing with at a young age. So when I started learning, my mentor always told me, he's like, hey, let's talk about your core issues. And I hated that. I
Yeah.
hated when he would say it that way. Let's talk about
Yeah.
your core issues. I'm like, oh, why do you call it that?
Yeah.
So, man, he just drilled me. He always like, hey, man, I'm the man in the mirror for you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And when I found that mentorship, that aha moment was the, man, stop chasing 50 million different things, hone in on one thing and master this one thing. And let's see what your life turns out to be.
Yeah.
And after that, I sought health, mental health. I started getting into hypnotherapy, which a lot of people don't know. I'm certified in hypnotherapy now,
Yeah.
neuroscience, neuropsychology. I got into like an obsession of understanding human behaviors after that aha moment. And then I stuck to the trades because I saw that, we really need a lot of help in the mindset side of things in our
Mhm.
industry. In fact, all trades. And that's my new thing. Like, I obsess helping people get through their triggers, their traumas. I
Mhm.
obsess teaching them human behaviors so that they can understand why they do what they do, so that they can excel in their businesses. Because as you've heard me, like I always talk about, you can have all the SOPs, you can have all the processes. It could be such a great streamline, but if your
Mhm.
mindset ain't straight, I'll tell you what, you're gonna find a reason to mess it up. You're gonna find a reason to sabotage something so beautiful that's right in front of you. So
Yeah.
that's my thing, and that's what I've been doing now.
Yeah, man. Love it. Love it. How how important was that mentor? Obviously, it was very important in your life, right? Because it changed your trajectory, obviously, right? But like, to somebody listening that's thinking about, no, I've got it all figured out, or like, I don't need anybody keeping me accountable. Like, I mean, how important was that, right? Like, you said you got so angry at him when he called like the core issues, or the core problems, whatever. It's like, you know, like how important and vital is that to somebody in their development?
It's extremely important. And I still have coaches now, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have the same mentor anymore because I'm just in a different phase in my life now. And
Yeah.
that's okay. I think a lot of people take that wrong as well. There's phases in your life, and you need the right people to just guide you in those phases that are within alignment and what you're seeking. And what I think a lot of people do is they have a lot of pride and ego in the way. That's just human nature.
Mhm.
And I was one of them, right? I was naturally good at everything I touched. And the funny part was I was horrible at painting. Like I was like, man, I'm so talented. I could do anything. When I got into
Yeah.
painting, I'm like, why is this so hard? Why is this business so hard?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. It was the most difficult thing. And I think it's because I no longer could rely on talent anymore. I had to really skill up. I really had to learn the trade properly. I
Mhm.
really needed to depend on like learning and stop just being like the guy who just did everything. I had to
Mhm.
start teaching and transferring skill. So I didn't realize that I could do everything, but I didn't know how to reteach what I knew.
Yeah.
And that's the importance of mentorship. They see things for us that we will never see or couldn't even imagine, or they've already gone through it. So why wait another 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, 10, a
Mhm.
1 year, even a month? Who cares?
Yeah.
The trajectory changes when you have someone that already saw it and who can foresee it for you. So mentorship is extremely important.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely, I mean, something to be said by learning vicariously through others, right? Like you said, why go through it? Just, just learn from their mistakes and don't do them, right? Save
Yeah.
yourself a lot of time, energy, effort, and dollars, for sure. So you said something interesting earlier, and I kind of want to get your opinion on this, because I'm curious. You mentioned that like mental, I can't remember the exact word you said. Was it mental health, mental clarity, mental something, in the trades? Why do
Yeah.
you why do you think that is? Like, what do you think it's, yeah, I'm just curious.
It's a great question. What a lot of people don't know, I'm really big in statistics. I do a lot of research. What most people and our viewers here right now today are probably going to resonate with this. Most people that are owners in the trade are recovering addicts of sorts. A lot of
Mhm,
people are scared to talk about it. They're scared to talk about their testimony. It is actually your superpower.
yeah,
A lot of people I coach, I would say, is probably 90% entrepreneurs in our trade have had some sort of addiction, whether it was
mhm,
alcohol, whether it was some sort of drugs, whether it was whatever it was.
yeah,
And people fear talking about those stories. You guys gotta understand that once you release the story and how you got into the trades and how it saved your life to get rid of these addictions, it is your superpower. But no one teaches us that. They shame us, especially as men. They shame us to not talk about these subjects. And
mhm,
I'm out here being very vocal to talk about the subjects because I was one of those guys, right?
yeah,
And I also was self-sabotaging. So mental health is extremely important for me. And I am very passionate about that when it comes to the trades because we have a lot of great people in the trades,
yeah,
and they never had the opportunity to work that corporate job because of their past or whatever.
mhm, mhm,
And I look at that as a gift because they wouldn't be doing the things they're doing now in their businesses if they did have the opportunity to be in that corporate world because it forced
yeah,
them to be where they're at today.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I mean, how'd you break it, right?
Oh man, it was that constant reminder, Joel, stop, stop, stop. It was a constant just, dude, I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. But stop, man. You're getting in your way. And a lot of people didn't do that for me. In fact, they fed my ego. They were always like, oh man, you're so great. Oh man, you're so good. You're so good. But they
Yeah,
were never tough enough to say, hey, Joel, like we see the road you're going, and it's not going to look good if you continue going that road. So
yeah,
that saved my life, honestly. And I say that thankfully. My wife is one of the biggest pillars of my life that saved my life because she knew I was all or nothing to that extreme in life. And she knew that if I didn't snap out of it, I'd be dead. Like
yeah,
literally. I say that respectfully that, I go all in, man. At
yeah,
any
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
love it, man. Love it. Okay, so let's keep going, man. Let's keep kind of going down this path, or your story there. So,
sure.
right, like, so you've met you're buying and selling, you're creating, you're in the trades, you've got your painting companies, I mean, you've had multiple, right? Like, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna, you can go into that if you want, but then, so now, now you're speaking, now you're coaching,
Yep.
right? You're helping people with their mental game, like, and mental clarity, and getting over those past traumas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize, yep, that's my path? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, how did
Yeah.
that come about, right? Like,
Yeah, I would say about 10 years ago.
okay.
When I realized that mental breakthrough for me, I was like, wow, I need to share and teach and really give back. I've been coaching for years. I just didn't realize it. Because
Yeah.
like every business I was in, I was coaching already, but it was for the business I was currently at. Right. And what a lot of people don't realize, they're all coaches, right? If you're a leader, you're coaching. That's
Mhm.
that's coaching. But what's really big is in these interviews, I do talk about my past experiences, and I know really in death of mental illness of my father. He's a paranoid schizophrenic.
Mm,
So I grew up not understanding mental, like what's going on here. So that was always my obsession, is understanding human behavior. So now that I do this
mhm.
for a living, um, that's my obsession, to share the world. And that's where I'm at today, is that it's the reason why I wrote a book too. In third grade, I couldn't speak really well. I couldn't read
Mm,
really well. I would get nervous. And that's all trauma from child past things. And I was always told I wouldn't read well. I was always told I would never write really well. Well, here I am, I'm a public co-author, a
mhm.
published co-author. I speak on stages. I'm breaking limiting belief systems that other people put on me, so that I can show other people you can do it as well. And the same thing with like me dropping out of high school. People are like, "Oh, I thought you had a college education. I thought you had a perfect life. Da 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 da. Like, how were you able to do all this?" And it's because of those gifts that were given to me, of all the hardships, that I'm able to do all these things. So I really want to give back to the world, and I'm niching down in the trades right now, but I am gonna go bigger and further past this. And I'm looking for successors right now and teaching other coaches. So I've brought coaches in my program to start coaching, because I know I can't just do it on my own. It
Yeah.
has to be multiple people. It's the only way we can grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, you kind of talked about leadership there, and you're like, hey, if you're a leader, you're a coach, right?
100%.
Um, like, in your mind, with that comment, like, what does being a leader really mean? Right? Like,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of, content and authors and created this and that. And it's like, oh, they're all leaders in the space and so on and so forth. But like, you don't have to have a million views. You don't have to have tons of followers, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's being a leader to you? How do you define that?
Yeah, 100%. Well, leadership is influence, right? And when you look at leadership as influence, you're influencing people in your life, no matter what it is. So whether you're a husband, a wife, a father, a mom, right, a foreman, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your role is always a leader at some point in time in your lifetime. So you're influencing someone, right? Like, even if you're not in a leadership position per
Mhm,
se,
mhm.
you're still leading people in your life, right? Like, think about it. If you're a father and you're a helper painter, you're still a leader, right? Like, you got to
Yeah,
lead your children, you got to lead your
yeah,
home. So everyone's a leader. Now there's levels to leadership, right? But
yeah.
everyone's a leader. And I think what people need to do is change their perspective about it, because
Mhm,
they look at themselves in the position they're living in. And if you guys read The Five Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, it's a beautiful book. It
mhm.
talks about level one is position. So the moment you have position as a leadership, you think as a boss, not as a leader. So then you act like a boss, not like a leader.
Mhm.
So I'm really big into that, because leaders are in every single one of you. And I think it's important that you start changing your mindset behind that, and watch what happens to your life when you start thinking like a leader versus a helper or a foreman or whatever position you have in life. That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, absolutely. What would you kind of, as we kind of round out here, get to the top of the hour, what's a piece of advice you'd give somebody past what you just said, you know, who's coming into 2026, right? Like, they're looking at the road ahead of them,
Yeah.
whether they're looking at substantial growth, whether they're looking at, like, I'm just getting started, like, I don't even know where to start. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like, what's that mental advice you give them, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do they tackle the rest of the year, right? How do they tackle the problems in front of them? Because I think everybody feels overwhelmed at some point in life, no matter what you're doing, right? But business owners, especially because it all weighs on them, right? It's all on their shoulders, right?
Yeah.
What's that mental advice?
I would say there's two things I would advise right now. One, find a friend or family member that you know you can put on speed dial and you let them know you need them in your life. So, what do I mean by that? That one person that you can say, "Hey, listen, I'm struggling. Can you just hear me out?" That
Mhm.
one person you know you can trust. That's the first one. The second, for the mental fortitude for 2026, I would say go dark mode. What do I mean by
Mm.
dark mode? Get rid of all distractions. When you're building, you have no room for distractions. So get rid of the time wasters, anyone that just calls you randomly for no reason, has no purpose or any kind of intentionality of helping.
Mhm.
When I say get rid of them, I don't literally mean don't ever talk to them ever in your life, right?
Yeah.
But just
Cut 'em
go
out.
dark mode this year, right? Like really focus, because when you focus on one thing and you're dialed in one target, watch what you can do in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
It's super powerful, and it's one of my favorite quotes. That's why I wear it on my shirt that I have even on today. I believe in, if you strive to be 1% better each day, at the end of 100 days, you're 100% better than when you first started. So I teach this all the time. We're 21 minutes in. You're not the same person 21 minutes ago. In fact, you're not the same person a minute ago because of something that you just learned.
Mhm.
So if you're focused and dialed in for 2026, the mental side of it will start to vanish. All these stresses and all these things start to go away because you're so focused and intentional that you start to see things you never thought you would see before. That would be my advice. The reason why I'm not saying mentorship and coaching right now, people know that mentorship and coaching is the best way to go. But if you can't afford a mentor or a coach, go
Mhm.
find a friend that can still mentor you, or a coach in that sense,
Yeah.
or tap into our community. I mean, gosh, right, Eli? Like, we have all these threads that we all
Dude,
just share free knowledge.
tons. Yeah.
Tap in, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Like, yeah, for sure. All right, man, switching gears on you, right?
Do it.
Business,
Mhm.
finances,
Yeah.
economy, kind of all those things, right?
Yeah.
What are you seeing from a business owner, kind of entrepreneur, financial mindset coming in 2026? What do people need to prep for? Is it a is it a growth year? Is it a hold year? Like what are we looking at in front of us here this year?
I think it's a growth year.
Yeah.
The reason why it's a growth year, when you see the most challenges, that's the most growth.
Okay.
When everything's so easy, that's when you're not seeing growth. So there is a lot of challenges right now. And I love that you asked that question. What I foresee is this: the contractors that are literally focused are
Mhm.
the ones that are going to see the opportunities this year. Those are the ones that are going to win the year after that, the year after that. It's going to propel them for the next 3 to 5 years. What do I mean by that? We build our own economy. Those of you that are listening to the gas prices and to the this and to the that, and you're focused on that, that means you're losing focus on your business and the opportunities that have been presented. Listen, we're all paying the same thing. We're all living the same world. We're all doing the same things. The difference is the perspective of it. Look at this as an opportunity for those other contractors that are so focused on the what ifs, what's going to happen,
Mhm.
to now you're going to be like, okay, this is the maximum opportunity for me to now show why we're the best in the industry, show why they should choose me over all these other limiting belief systems. Because we create our own economy. I truly believe that.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Guys, sound advice from a sound man. Let's go. Joel, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, man. Guys, I threw Joel's link up in the threads there, so feel free to snag it. I mean, I'm just gonna say this out loud. Reach out to Joel on Facebook.
Yeah.
Anything, reach out to him. Same for me, right? If you have any questions, reach out to me as well. But he's an open book. He'll help you out. So anyway, Joel, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, man.
Likewise.
And thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week.
God bless you guys.